What is going on, my beautiful people? It is PJ Trades with your daily trade review from today's live Discord trading session. I'm going to go over the two setups that we executed on the live stream, why we execute them, and we'll go from there. So you guys can basically take notes and understand why we executed, when we executed, and just start to develop just your eyes to draw to why we're doing what we're doing. To make you guys become independent traders, you need to understand how these trade models work by yourselves. Watching me is great. It's a great way to learn, but I want you guys to learn for yourselves and be able to go on and be profitable traders. So without further ado, today we were looking at trading on the S&P 500. I was looking for price to sweep, and I called this out in the Discord, to sweep yesterday's PM lows on the S&P 500. So we sell side gets taken, 15-minute sell side gets taken, which is what we're looking for. Now, if we drop it down into a 5-minute time frame, 5-minute then takes relative equal lows and sell stop orders down into here. And now this is when I'm starting to get interested to see if price is going to go ahead and give us an opportunity to draw back up into these relative equal highs here. Okay. And this is when we have a trade setup that presented itself on the 1-minute time frame. So price again takes a 15-minute low from yesterday, shifts even lower, okay? Draws up into here, leaves engineered relative equal highs, which to me is very clean that price wants to draw into. Whenever I see relative equal highs like that look engineered, I'm thinking, okay, we're probably going to go tag that at some point in time. So first trade setup of the day is pretty straightforward. It's an inverted fair value gap play. I am looking for price to invert this 1-minute fair value gap, okay, to draw into, okay, if I can draw, that'd be great, but to draw into these relative equal highs. And let's just hit replay bar and let's just go from there on how we traded this. So price is trading inside here, no confirmation yet. We wait for a candle closure above that 1-minute gap. We get that right there. Now, once we have that confirmation, again, this structure looks very good for me, good to me to take up into these relative equal highs. So we have sell stops taken down here. We have a shift. We have a nice shift through a 1-minute fair value gap, which turns into an inversion now. And how do we execute our trade model? Well, pretty simple. This is the entry. Stops are below the fair value gap, okay? And targets are all the way up here at the 6090 price point, which is the relative equal highs. Now, that relative equal high also coincides, and I want you guys to see where the magic really comes in here. Though that area coincides with this 15-minute fair value gap. Okay. So I want you guys to constantly be flipping through different time frames to get an understanding of why we're taking trades and where liquidity is resting. Market loves to trade into gaps. It loves to take liquidity in gaps. So this trade setup is relatively simple when you look at it like that, right? Market takes a low, market then shifts, making an inversion on the 1-minute time frame. So this sell side imbalance, buy side efficiency gets inverted to the upside. Price pulls back into the inversion gap. We execute a long up into these relative equal highs inside of a higher time frame PD array, which is a 15-minute fair value gap. Okay. So if we click play, we enter into the trade there. Price starts to make its way up inside or pushing away from the inversion. Okay. At this point, stops are break even. Also, you can take something off the table here at this swing high. If you're taking, have 5 micros, this is where I would probably close 3 to 4 micros and then keep a runner up into the buy side liquidity for full TP. Really, really nice trade. Clean setup. 1-0 on the day so far. Now, the next trade setup happens very quickly. And when we're trading futures, things like this are bound to happen. Price moves quickly, and we have to be ready to react to price. So now that I have buy side liquidity getting swept into a higher time frame PD array, okay, and we're rejecting now inside this gap, I am looking for the possibility to now then take all of this liquidity here that we just built up. This is low resistance liquidity. When the market's starting to make lows like this, like higher highs, higher lows, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher high, higher lows, it's leaving a lot of liquidity here on the way down, right? On the way up, which is perfect for us to look to draw into. But we need a model to present this up before we can just say, hey, we're going to take a short into this liquidity pool, right? So let's just go back into the replay bar and we can show you what plays out here. So we get a really nice rejection block and inversion off of the 15-minute gap, right? So we have a 1 minute inversion right here, which is kind of giving us confirmation that, okay, this market wants to reverse now. 1 minute inversion, but we also get a breaker setup on the 1 minute here, okay? Now, this is a little trickier of a stop loss positioning, and I'm going to tell you guys why. We have a BPR right here. And I explained this earlier on the TikTok live, but I want to explain to you guys again that are inside the Discord so you guys can use this for learning purposes. When you have a buy side inefficiency, sell side imbalance overlap, becomes a BPR. It's a balanced price range, okay? It's a strong level of resistance in this case, where the market's already balanced. It might want to draw back into this level before shooting down lower. So my stops normally would be above the breaker, but in this case, I put it above this high right here at like 6089. I'm going to show you guys when this sets up the best. Now, for full disclosure, I was in the short already here. My model and the way that I trade breakers, I'm usually in on the breaker. Okay. In this example, I was in here, right? So for the sake of this demonstration, I am going to then put an entry. Well, I can't even get an entry in, so I guess I won't do it that way. So let me just wait, but I was already in here. Okay. Market then pulls back up into the breaker inside of the BPR. This is what I wanted to demonstrate here. That BPR gets touched, right? That BPR gets tapped into, but the candles do not close above this fair value gap or the BPR. So the trade is still 100% valid, okay? It gets a little scary in here, but we have to trust our model and what we know about price inside of these areas. Now, executing a short here is very, very cheap. Stop loss would be, you could put it above the swing high if you wanted to, or you can even put it up a little bit above the BPR, okay? And the TP would be down here at this swing low. First TP I was targeting was going to be right here, okay? And then full TP is at where it says $600. Today I was sized down half risk. Both of my trades were on 5 micros instead of 1 mini. Okay, so we execute short here. We just do replay bar. We see we get a really nice displacement into that low. So 80% of this position at this point is already scaled out. Stops are now at break even, so this trade becomes 100% risk free. And then we just let the trade really do whatever it wants at this point because we already made our money and we're completely risk free. This just chops around for a little bit. But as we're chopping, guys, I want you guys to know we are respecting bearish order flow. Okay, so as you're in these trades, you got to be looking at where all of our gaps are and drawing it out in real time, right? You don't want to see price inverse this 1 minute fair value gap here. As you can see, the candles close inside of the gap, just to the top of it, right? Try to get you out of your position, but then it closes inside of it, respects the bearish order flow, and price action is starting to move down aggressively, and there's full TP. So those were the 2 trades of the day. Really, really simple. If you guys can visualize it and understand why we took those trades, then it really becomes easier to execute in real time. I hope you guys enjoyed this trade breakdown, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great night.